I believe in God, only I spell it nature. This quote by Frank Lloyd Wright proves that the recognition of the beauty in our nature is proven to be timeless. By reflecting on antiquated texts concerning the values of the environment present in the 1900s, readers are given insight into similar dominant ideologies conveyed in the media today. Nonetheless, the inevitable progression of society has significantly altered our outlook on the environment, although continues to appreciate it. Through analysing poems regarding these representations, we must recognise and further educate that over time, man develops concerns in relation to the preservation of our environment and donates less attention to its scenic and stimulating qualities. It is imperative that we adopt the anthology that with support of varying texts, there undoubtedly exists a prominent shifting of these dominant ecological ideologies from the 1900s to the 21st century. As a result of extended examination of the 4 selected poems from a number of eras, it will become apparent through the literary techniques of theme, tone, imagery, and sound that our values of nature have adjusted on account of the circumstances during the period. Through the analysis of these 4 poems of different ages, it is manifest that theme and tone are significant elements in enforcing ideologies regarding the representations of the environment. The Wood by Charlotte Bronte undoubtedly portrays a clear attitude towards the environment during its day. Evidently, this poem donates a role to nature, symbolising the theme of escape, and exuding a peaceful and secure tone. This belief is corroborated with the theme of security and is symbolised with one of the several quotes, "These massive roots are for to seek." Advancing through history, we come to recognise that the discourse of nature as a safe place is less enforced, implementing more artistic and passionate qualities in later poems. Beauty by John Masefield depicts a theme of love and focuses on a man admiring a woman, comparing her to the loveliness of nature. Additionally, represented through the adoring and appreciative tones of these older texts, indeed John Masefield unveils the values of nature of his day through his description of love. "I have seen the Lady April bringing in the daffodils," personifies his view of nature and puts into effect a romantic appeal, comparable and equivalent to the attraction within a relationship. Entering into the 20th century, respectful attitudes towards our environment remain articulated, however depicting a noteworthy difference to earlier texts. The events altering these ideologies through time are easily distinguished in infamous songs such as Michael Jackson's Earth Song and the Moody Blues' How Is It We Are Here. It is clear that both songs confront the consequences of the human race and convey a subject which aims to protect and preserve our precious environment. The lyrics "Men's mighty mine machines digging in the ground" attacks the issues in modernised periods which have become more apparent and educated into today's society. This song donates the impression that the earth is in danger and requires protection from the people who have no choice but to preserve it, similar to the theme and tone present in the Earth Song. "What have we done to the world" develops a more recent belief that dramatically differs to the view of nature present in older poems and maintains a gloomy and regretful tone, as does How Is It We Are Here. Identified in both songs, a timeless belief that our environment is sacred continues to be enforced, however recognising its importance and the dangers of neglect, focusing on its appealing features. Wouldn't you prefer viewing the environment as did preceding eras? Additionally, the ideology concerning society's progressive views of the environment is furthermore put into effect through various examples of imagery identified in these antiquated and infamous poems. The representation of nature as dazzling and tranquil is evident in early poems such as Beauty by John Masefield through the frequent exercise of the personification device. Apparent in the line, "I have heard the song of the blossoms and the old chant of the sea," we can see that the use of this technique strategically manipulates the dominant discourse present in the text, and therefore the era it stands for. In this poem, it is manifest that nature has been donated human-resembling qualities in order to express appreciation of its serenity, and therefore builds a connection between the readers and the text. The poem compares the hums of nature and pleasant and valued songs or chants, a clear symbolism as beauty to the ears and assumedly the eyes. With the analysis of a progressing poem, The Wood, by Charlotte Bronte, it is evident that nature's dominant depiction is transformed yet still appreciated, highlighted by appealing to the senses. This form of figurative language has similar techniques to personification in how it communicates to the public and reveals ideologies regarding nature. Quotes such as "will light us on our devious way" and "the air is soft and sweet" appeal to the senses of sight and taste, revealing a feeling of sanctuary and surrealism. Appealing tastes and sights build the ideology that nature will provide us with such pleasantries and support through our journey, representing beliefs towards nature during its time. Moving forward in time, 20th century media moreover utilises diverse forms of imagery, however expresses an observable distinction in discourse with the aged poems. Through analysis and comparison, we come to recognise that the values illustrated in the Earth Song and How Is It We Are Here are made effective through the frequent appearance of personification. Representations of the earth as vulnerable and innocent are formed from the lyrics and exude meanings of sacredness, making apparent the easily observable recent ideology that our environment deserves and requires protection. This belief, expressed in a modern text, is further enforced through the impression that the earth possesses human requirements. This crying earth, its weeping shores, and a starving, frightened world exemplifies the poetic technique of personifying the earth with human qualities and emotions, and therefore provokes the thought that it is in distress and threat. Notably, the use of personification undeniably strengthens the impact of these texts and aids to enforce modernized beliefs involving the necessity to take action before mankind is responsible for more destruction of our environment's wonders. Don't you think the newly developed ideology is a sad turn for our environment's history? In earlier poems, it becomes clear that sound is a significant factor in constructing these aged nature-specific poems, ideologies. In the poem Beauty, a particular rhyming scheme is identifiable in this poem and constructed in an attempt to place emphasis on the simplistic attraction of nature. The pattern of ABAB is implemented for this reason and is observable in the lines, "Windy hills, tune of Spain, bringing in the daffodils, warm April rain." This continuous rhyming technique carefully manipulates a noteworthy discourse into the text, revealing the natural beauties of our environment and its lovely sights, which create a pleasurable atmosphere. This form of precise scheme manifests a powerful connection between the underlying messages of the song and how it is shared, reflecting the era's most treasured elements of the environment. Arriving into the early 1900s, the prominent yet subtle modification in ideologies is strengthened through the additional appearance of a rhyming scheme in Charlotte Bronte's The Wood. Although a peculiar, unclear rhyming scheme occurs in the first stanza, a following stable pattern of AB, AB, CCD is quickly recognised. Seat made, sweet glade, around ground spread, are final words of each line present in a specific stanza, corroborating the existence of this pattern. Again, this poetic technique enforces the most valued aspects of our environment, almost accentuating a safe and joyful alternative to reality, a message manipulated into this text with the use of sound. Conclusively, the final identifiable poetic technique of sound is additionally utilised in modernised texts in order to signify the importance and worth of our earth and its well-being. With the implementation of a specific rhyming scheme, the values represented in How Is It We Are Here are reinforced and unmistakably reflect the alteration of beliefs in which the text was written compared to earlier poems. In this song, the Moody Blues implement an identifiable pattern of AABB, and is depicted in the line, "How is it we are here in this world of pointless fear?" This demonstrates the effectiveness of putting forth the modernised beliefs and viewpoints, imposing the view that man has created fear on earth due to their poor environmental treatment and confronts the extent of problematic issues, wondering how he managed to survive in such a state. Whilst additionally utilising imagery in order to encourage beliefs, Michael Jackson's Earth Song takes a different approach, where the technique of repetition is most frequently employed. Conveying dramatically similar portrayals of the environmental issues mankind faces today, repetition works to accentuate elements of the text in the way that rhyming patterns do. As observable in the song, the majority of the lines commence with the words, "What about?" and are habitually followed by some form of appeal or plea. The continuous appearance of these words gives insight into just how many environmental issues we face that have not been addressed or resolved, bringing us back to the dominant discourse regarding the values of our environment expressed today. Sure, recent texts represent our aim to protect the environment. However, shouldn't we aspire to bring it back to the quality of its original state, depicted in antiquated poems, and not just avoid destroying the last of its well-being? Once viewed as a place of sanctuary and beauty, we are now concerned for its natural preservation. With this in mind, it is crucial that we publish these 4 texts containing the literary techniques of theme, tone, imagery, and sound in an anthology to raise awareness of the saddening, inevitable turn of our representation of the environment. Such a significant change in ideologies will hopefully motivate and educate the public with a depiction of the beauty it could possess and the beauty it has once possessed. Thank you.